How can you tell if someone is a good person or a bad person? One approach that's been making the rounds on the internet, surprisingly during this COVID time, is called the shopping cart theory. And it sounds kind of silly, but it represents a certain kind of thinking that I think is in our world. So here's what it talks about, and here's what it says. The shopping cart is the ultimate litmus test for whether a person is capable of self-governing. To return the shopping cart is an easy, convenient task, and one which we all recognize is the correct and appropriate thing to do. To return a shopping cart is objectively right. There's no other situation, in no other situation other than a dire emergency, should a person not have to return their cart. Simultaneously, it's not illegal to abandon your shopping cart. Shopping cart represents the apex example of whether a person's willing to do the right thing without being forced to do it. No one will punish you for not returning your cart. There's no fine, the law's not behind it, no one's going to damage you, so you must return the shopping cart out of the goodness of your own heart. You return it because it's the right thing to do, because it's correct. And a person who's unable to do this is no better than an animal, an absolute savage, who can only be made to do what's right by threatening them with the law and the force that's behind it. The shopping cart is what demonstrates whether a person is good or bad member of society. Well, I hardly know where to start with that. It's certainly a new approach or a new way of writing it, but it represents a very old idea that's been around, I think, for a long time, and that is that it assumes our moral goodness or badness can be somehow quantified or measured by behavior. But ultimately that falls short because it doesn't really tell us the truth about ourselves. A serial killer could be a very responsible individual and return their shopping cart all the time, but at the end of the day, they're still a serial killer. We'd like to have a measurement, though, because it gives us a sense of comfort, knowing whether or not we're on the right track and if we measure up. And so it's important to remember that in the Christian faith, our belief is that being a morally good person is found in being in Christ, and it's found in Christ alone. Ephesians chapter 2, for it is by grace that you've been saved through faith, and this not from yourselves. It's the gift of God, not of works, lest anyone should boast. So here's the takeaway. Be a decent member of society and return your shopping cart. That's the right thing to do. That's just good practice. But remember, that doesn't make you a morally good person. We're all relying on God's grace for that qualification, and we need it. And by the way, I return my shopping cart because I get my deposit back. So I don't know what that makes me. God bless.